Guys, this might be my last stream. In today's session, we're going to be talking about some Pocket Page updates, something called Aha Stack, and we will be hacking on Kingdom. Hello, probably daughter, I'm guessing. Crush Pop. I guess the Twitch notification works. So if you don't know already, PocketBased is the premier dev channel for all things PocketBase and PocketHost. We're working on a game called Kingdom. You can playtest Kingdom as we build it. That's at kingdom.pockethost.io. You can hack on Kingdom with me. Just jump on GitHub. We also have a giant Discord channel, about 1,500 members. So if you want to chat with other people who are in the PocketBase and PocketHost community, jump onto Discord. PocketHost is the premier hosting service for PocketBase. We have a few lifetime subs left. I made PocketHost. PocketHost is an open source project, but the hosting is not free. So if you're a PocketHost member, that accelerates your development cycle and gets you access to exclusive content here too. So moving on, I want to teach you a few things about Pocket Pages while I talk about the updates. If you haven't heard of Pocket Pages yet, it is a server-side pages framework for PocketBase. That's different from server-side rendering. We're talking about old school PHP style server-side pages. If you haven't given Pocket Pages a star on GitHub yet, you can do that and help us out. But for now, let's jump into the documentation. So we've been using Pocket Pages to build the Kingdom app. There are a few new documentation feature updates to Pocket Pages that I wanted to review today. The first thing I want to talk about is that loading data has been vastly improved. We've always been able to do inline data loading right in an EJS page, but I've never been super happy about that because the code formatting doesn't work well with VS Code. So today I came up with this new idea called server script blocks, and it's equivalent syntax in the end, but this markup style works a lot better with VS Code and prettier formatting tools. So check it out. The old way of building the API was to create a folder, and then inside it you'd have index.egs, and all that would do is stringify the data. And then you'd have a get.js, for example. And here you'd need to export a function that ultimately returned a grid object, and then that was stringified in the template because what comes out of the loader function is named data in the template. You can see in this loader function, it's passed the API object, so you can destructure everything from the API that you need. That is automatically happening in the template files already. So it would be possible, if we wanted to, we could just grab all of this code right here, paste it into the EJS, and not have this get.js at all. But the issue with that is the tooling isn't very good. So I split them apart. But I ended up not liking that, and I really wanted to fix it. So I created a way to do server-side scripting syntax. Here's the same join code again. Look, it has script server right up here at the top. Pocket Pages will see this and it will automatically run this server side. This will not get served to the client. And then you can simply echo out the grid at the bottom. So to me, this is much cleaner code. It's more compact and isolated, and it also eliminates a folder and two files in favor of just one file. I did the same thing for the login EJS, and I repeated it again for a version EJS. So this format feels much, much better. I also improved the echo command. Down here in the API, you'll see the echo command. Notice what this note says. Echo writes immediately to the response output stream when called, whether in a loader or template. Objects are automatically stringified, so there's no need to call JSON stringify unless you need special formatting. That means in templates, you can do something like this, where you just echo out an object and it will stringify it, render it. Pocket Pages will recognize that you echoed JSON and it will serve it as a JSON response. You can see that happening right here. If I go to API version, there's the JSON response. Watch in the network tab. If you look closely in the response headers, you'll see that it says application JSON. Now the one exception to this is if you do in fact just render a string. It will not automatically render the string as JSON. It will assume that you're trying to return some HTML content. I renamed the require function to resolve. Resolve will traverse up the directory tree looking for a file named whatever you give it, but only in the private directories. So if you resolve config, it's going to jump all the way up to the top and find it here. That's different from how require works, and I've found this to be quite handy. Look at the difference here. Here is a require statement where I'm providing a path to the hooks root and searching for package.json to get the version number. That's going to come from here. But now look at join. Join has a resolve directive, and it resolves grid. So that traverses up. At first it looks in API to see if there's a private grid.js there. No, there's not. So then it goes up to the pages directory, finds a private folder, and grid.js is here. So it will find the nearest ancestor in the private folders with that name. This is a really nice way to organize modules. And we haven't really gotten to it yet in Kingdom, but includes would work the same way. So here, if you wanted to include a partial, it would use the same traversal strategy, the same resolution strategy. So let's pivot now to the stack. This was a cool find. This guy took the time to write a website all about the AHA stack, which he calls, here's the homepage, Astro, HTMX, and Alpine JS, AHA. We have a very similar stack, but instead of Astro, we're using PocketPages. So it's a P or PH, what could we call it? Yeah, we could call it the HAP stack, HTMX, Alpine JS, and PocketBased / PocketPages / pockethost, Pocket star. There was a fun bit of conversation on Discord today. This guy right here, A-Daddy, he said, here's what I've been using since we're talking about Astro. AHA stack, Astro, HTMX, and Alpine, right. I've been very interested in switching to Alpine. It seems super simple, mainly interested in trying frameworks to set up everything. Okay, right. So people are interested in slim front ends and no build chains for front ends. They want to go back to something that feels more like the server-side pages days. I said I'm using Alpine right now. AHA stack looks a lot like what I'm trying to do with PocketPages. Yeah, so it's interesting, right? I mean, your choice is use something like Astro, and now you have to host 2 different servers. You have to have a Node.js backend and a PocketBase backend. Or use something like PocketPages with the trade-off that the JS VM is basically incompatible with most Node modules, and probably a lot of browser packages too. All right, what do you guys say we get into some Kingdom coding? So a thought I had recently was that when Kingdom is running, we've got a bug here in Kingdom. Look at this, invalid module. This is one of the things where the JS VM doesn't really tell us very much. Object has no member. That's actually what we want to see. Okay, so what happens if we just do that much? Okay, that worked. What happens if we do all of this? That still works. Does this whole thing work now? Okay, that says invalid module. Oh my God. Oh my God. I have a require instead of a resolve. Holy shit. That was thorny. I want to do something better here. That was a rough one, guys. Way up at the top of PocketPages, I have this thing right here. Shoot, man, this is just gnarly. Just gnarly. So PocketPages, even if I define the require up top here, it's not going to get inside the handler scope. I don't have a way to override the require unless, let me try just one more trick here. If I put it in here, I wonder if that will work. Yeah, nice. I don't know why it's stacking up like that. That's interesting. Oh, because it's replacing it every time. See, but it calls this every time. Watch this, guys. I'm going to recruit cloud. Watch what it's going to do some JavaScript kung fu for me. Set the flag. Okay, let's try this. Let's see if this works. So we'll go blip like that. All right, let's see. Yeah, look at that. If we just go or true, just to test it the other way, watch. It stacks up, you see? Those requires are stacking up. Take that away, and the requires no longer stack up. Wow, beautiful. Okay, so we're taking this, and we are putting it here as well. These are our 2 handlers. I'm going to call this an enhancement. That feels good, guys. We solved the empty content bug. That was not the problem. We did solve the require versus resolve problem. And resolve already has a really good error message. This one's resolving anyway. So now let's go here and see if Kingdom loads. Oh, it does. Okay, so people are playing. Okay, let's go in right now and reset our grid here. Yeah, we'll just reset the grid to an empty grid, just like that. Blip, and now everything's empty again. All right, that was a rough one, guys. That's something I feel like if I weren't here self-conscious on the live stream, I could have probably found that a lot earlier. But hey, who cares? We've only been at this 2 hours. Let me set a little checkpoint, which is we've fixed a critical bug. We fixed a couple critical bugs. Fix resolve versus require. And then we also did a fix for enhance fix return version as JSON. We have cleaned up that whole mess, and now we're ready to proceed with implementing the version check. The other thing we could do is end of round progress timer. I wonder if you guys have any opinions on which ones we should do first. The version check felt like a nice warm-up, but now I feel all warmed up, and I feel like an end of round progress bar timer would be better. So we need a TTL for these rounds. Let's go into the console here, and we're going to go plus new date just to get a Unix timestamp. I like storing stuff in Unix timestamps. Our game state here is getting a little convoluted. It's getting split between columns and JSON structures. I think it's time to change this around a little bit. Let's go back. We're going to rename this one state, okay? And we're going to take this one out altogether. All right, we're going to save those changes. Yep. So now state looks like this. It's got grid, it's got players, it's got round number, and it's got round expiry that looks like that. Okay. So we'll go grid, players, round number, round expiry, and max rounds. Let's say max round 0 means that it never ends, and round TTL is, let's give it 5, we'll go 5 minutes times 60 seconds per minute times 1,000 milliseconds. So yeah, so we're gonna say 300,000, like that. So here is our new game state or room state, okay? So I'm gonna go back in here, and I think I'm going to just add a global TDS, and I'm going to say type room state equals, and just let it do all of this. Now grid is going to be, yeah, a record of that. Players are going to be a record like that. Yeah, this is TDS, DTS. Cool. So that's what our room state looks like. And even if I don't have IntelliSense showing up here, the cursor AI will find it and use it to its advantage. All right, so now I want to rename this room, and I want this to say get current room, like that. Yeah, get current room state, and it'll do that. And then set current room state will do that. Okay, then inside login here, we're going to resolve room, get current room state. And I think we'll just call it room state. That's good. That's good. We'll call it room state. And we'll do this, the same thing in join here. Room state is going to do that. Well, yeah, room state dot.grid. Yeah, let's see if we can refactor all this. Return room state. That's fine. Now here, we got to find up here where it says grid. This is going to say room state, res.grid. This is going to say room state equals res.room state. Yep. Okay. And then this is going to be room state, room state, room state grid, room state. Yeah, that all feels good. Let's see if that works. Okay. Didn't like that. Yeah. So check it out. Now, instead of returning just the grid, we're returning the whole room state. So I refactored this all to room state, where now it has room state grid ID, see, and player ID, stuff like that. So I bet all of this still just works. And then in here, when we first join the room, the initial room state is empty grid, no players, no expiration, no rounds, nothing, right? So let's see if that works. Yeah, bingo, there we go. We can do it. Let's make sure it's still writing everything appropriately. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now we're down to this round expiry and round number and round TTL. It would be cool if we could have a state variable that's dependent on other state variables changing. I don't know if Alpine supports that though. Let's find out. So there is something here called watch. You can watch a component property. Oh yeah, there we go. So I put it in a init. That's cool. Let's do that. So when room state changes, let's just console log this and see what happens. Oh yeah, it looks like it works every time. Cool. That's simple, because then what we want here is ms remaining is 0. And then when this changes, we say round expiry minus date now. And then we also want a set interval in there. Let's see how all of this goes. Oh, didn't like that. Okay, so let's see here. The expiry is in the past. Oh, it's got to be in the future. Anytime somebody joins, we're going to add 5 minutes. So let's see what happens now. Yeah. So then we're going to go here and we're going to say time remaining is the same room expiry, and I'm going to do this every 100 milliseconds. Let's see what this is like. Oh, this can only work if room state has a round expiry, but it does. Maybe not during initialization? Maybe this needs to be inside next tick. Let's try that. Cannot read properties of undefined. Is it because of, I don't know if this is supposed to be there. See if it is. Because here it's not, room state. Yeah, I think here inside a function it needs that, but there we go. So yeah, it's counting down, right? So now the max TTL, xbind max equals room state TTL, and xbind value equals ms remaining. Yeah. Let's try this. Oh, it is going down. Here, let's restart it. Oh, that's cool. Okay, it's working. So now I want to go maybe progress accent. You can see it going down, right? That is cool. So I am curious though, this progress bar, where is it getting its color? Because I kind of wanted a different color. Oh, okay, success works. So here's what I can do. I want to have percent remaining too. So let me go up here and calculate it. Percent remaining. And then in here, I'm going to watch this and calculate these percent remainings as well. And then down here in progress, I'm going to say if it's greater than half, I want it greater than 0.7, we do a success. Otherwise, if it's greater than 0.3, we do info, and greater than, yeah, this is supposed to be ms remaining. Yeah, there we go. That looks nice. All right, let's do a little check-in here. So we've done a room refactor. We've refactored the API as well. I'm just going to put this all under the heading of enhancement room round progress. And then we're going to go in here, added round progress bar updates. Yeah, okay. So this is a good place to stop for today. So we got through a lot. We did an end of round progress bar timer to close out this episode. And now next time we'll look at implementing end of round stuff. Cool, see, it turned blue. Yeah. See you next time.